VOICEBOX is a Ticci Toby fanfiction consisting of 12 chapters and was first published on Quotev on the 29th of March 2014. Obviously, all signs point towards it being a magnum opus, so therefore I thought I would read the story together with you all, so we can dull the pain together. Each week, every Tuesday, I'll upload a new chapter. Let's call it Ticci Tuesdays. Now, it begins. VOICEBOX, a Ticci Toby love story. Chapter 4. That night, after helping Father prepare several different dishes for everyone's dinner, getting Father's permission to go on a killing spree, and changing into our normal killing outfits, Toby and I snuck through the woods near that little brat's house. "Toby, you can kill the dad. I'll take out the brat. After this, there is a house on the next street that we can hit. I know of a few people in this area that deserve to die." I looked over at Toby, who nodded at me and quietly giggled. Even with the mouth guard, goggles, and random twitching, he looked cute. I blushed a little at that thought and turned back to the house. All the lights were out when we arrived, so we slipped into the house through the unlocked bathroom window. After we crept up the stairs and quietly peeked into the two rooms, Toby slipped into the father's room while I snuck into the brat's room. I quietly walked over to the sleeping boy and grinned. I carefully crawled onto the bed over the boy, raised one of my skinners over my head, and quickly covered his mouth with my left hand. The brat jolted awake and looked up at me. His brown eyes widened with fear as he saw me and he tried to struggle. I started to grin, showing off my sharp canines, and then leaned down to whisper in his ear. "You know, it's not nice to pick on little girls," I said sweetly as my tail swished back and forth. "You talk too much. I can fix that." With that, I sunk my teeth into his throat and ripped out his voice box. Tears of pain and fear were streaming down his cheeks and falling into his hair as I chewed them up and swallowed them. "There now, I think I can put your vocal cords to better use," I whispered, and once again my voice had changed. I didn't recognize the young boyish voice that spilled out of my mouth, but I assumed it was his. I then slammed my skinner down into his skull and watched as the life drained from his eyes. His own laugh came out of my mouth as the last bit of life flickered and died. "Shayla, why don't we have a little fun and use his blood to write a message on the wall? Cool, how about he talked too much, I fixed that. Or maybe I'll put his voice to better use. What do you think, VOICEBOX? How about he talked too much, I'll put his voice to better use. We can sign it VOICEBOX. It can be our calling card." Perfect. I grinned as I used the brat's blood to write our new calling card on the wall above his bed. After that, I met up with Toby and we slipped back out of the house. Toby's outfit was covered with blood splatter and I giggled before wiping some blood off his goggles. As we headed to the next house, I licked the blood off my hands and my skinner. It wasn't as satisfying as vocal cords, but it did taste pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good! After a few more houses, Toby and I sat down in a clearing in the woods to rest. There was only one more house I wanted to hit that night, and Toby and I were already covered in so much blood that I wasn't sure if we would be able to get to the stains all out. Getting blood out of leather can be a real pain. As we sat there, Toby told me about his sister who had died, and I told him a bit about Rebecca. We both found it interesting that we had both lost an older sister in a car accident that we had survived. Every now and then I would be distracted by him running one gloved hand through his thick auburn hair. I couldn't help but wonder if his hair was as soft as it looked. Then I would give a mental head shake and focus back on the conversation. Even with the slight stuttering he sometimes had, his velvety voice made me smile and sometimes blush. He was just so cute. After a half hour of resting, we decided to head the last kill of the evening. The house held a family of 4. Toby and I quickly took out the parents, and I was happy to see that Toby didn't seem disgusted when I ate their vocal cords. We them split up. Toby was going to take out the boy, while I headed in to take care of my fellow classmate and tormentor. Kyra wasn't as bad as Jeannie's group was, but she would constantly call me names and insult my sisters. That, in my book, was unacceptable. No one insults my sisters and gets away with it. Not anymore, because of course, making fun of someone definitely, justifies killing them, yes. Imagine my surprise when I found Jeff in Kyra's room, already writing "go to sleep" on the wall with Kyra's blood. I let out a frustrated growl, and Jeff turned to face me. I saw his smiling face turn into a smiling, smirking face and sighed. "Jeff, this was supposed to be my kill. Toby and I already took out the others. I wanted to kill that little bitch." "Look at it as payment for taking my kills yesterday, sweet cheeks," he said as he strutted over to me. I backed up a bit and leaned against the wall, silently fuming at not being able to kill Kyra myself. "You look hot covered in blood." "Nice to know, Jeff. Now back off." I was starting to get uncomfortable with how close he was getting. Jeff just smiled bigger and leaned his face in closer to mine. I growled and I could hear VOICEBOX in my head telling me to get out of there, but I was caged between the wall and him. My muscles started twitching and I growled lowly. "I mean it, Jeff. Back the hell off now." "Ah, sweet cheeks, you really don't have to play hard to get. I know you like me." "Jeff, I see you as a friend, nothing more, and I really don't want to hurt you, but if you don't back the fuck off right now, I'm going to have to hurt you." He leaned in closer to me and I growled louder as my neck on mouth twitching got worse. Just then I heard a loud cracking sound, and from the corner of my eye I saw Toby rush over. He tackled Jeff and started hitting him with his fist over and over again. "She said to back off," Toby said over and over again as he kept hitting Jeff. Jeff tried to fight back, but since Toby couldn't feel pain, there wasn't much he could do. After a couple minutes, my twitching stopped and I started giggling. I managed to convince Toby not to kill Jeff. Why not? Why not kill Jeff? Jeff has been nothing but a fucking asshole to you. And you seem to want to kill everyone else, so why not just kill Jeff and get it over with? And between the giggles told him that Jeff had probably learned his lesson. By this time, Jeff had been knocked out, so Toby and I ended up carrying him back home. When we got there, I was still upset about what Jeff had tried to pull, so of course Father picked up what happened, and once Jeff woke up, Father took him into his office. I'm not sure what he said to Jeff because I had gone up to my room to shower and change into a pair of blue sweatpants and a white t-shirt, but later that night Jeff apologized and seemed paler than usual, so I'm guessing that it wasn't a pleasant conversation. Father then called me into his office, and as soon as I walked in I was in his arms as he hugged me tightly. "Shayla, I do not want to come off as overbearing, but I am going to have Toby accompany you anytime you leave the mansion. It is only for a few months, just until you turn 18. I will not have to worry so much when you are not here after your birthday. You will finally be immortal, and I will not have to ever lose you again." "I understand, Father. I feel the same way about Benna. I'll try not to worry you too much." "I love you, my daughter." Who the fuck says my daughter nowadays? Like, I love you, my daughter. God, this is terrible. "It is getting late. You should go up to bed now. I will see you in the morning." "Love you too, Father. Good night," I said as I hugged him once more before going to my room. I quickly hopped into bed. It had been a busy... Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? It had been a busy day and I was so tired that I fell asleep almost before my bed hit my pillow. P style equals text align center. Did they seriously forget to edit that out? I don't know if that's in the Troll Pasta wiki or if that's actually in the Quotev story, but what the fuck? Shayla's dream. A gentle breeze tugged at my hair as the warmth of the sun heated my skin. I was in the meadow that Rebecca used to bring me to when I was a child. I sat by the small pond where my big sister had taught me to swim. I kept thinking of all the good times we had had here and laughed as I remembered how I used to start water fights with Rebecca. I missed my sister. I could barely remember the sound of her voice, but I remember her laugh. I remember the way her silver blue eyes would sparkle when she smiled at me, the way her long brown hair had copper highlights when the sun shone down on her. I remember warm hugs, and now she would swoop me up in her arms and twirl me around. Rebecca had been the best sister anyone could ever ask for. She played with me, protected me, and always loved me. I wondered if she would still love me if she could see me now. Shayla, I heard VOICEBOX and turned to look at her. Standing behind me was a girl who looked a lot like me. She even looked like she was the same height as me. She had long blood red hair held out of her face by a mint green ribbon, black-tipped blood-red fox ears and tail, and I could see her canine teeth were like mine as she smiled down at me. She was wearing a sky blue shirt that had a purple collar with a mint green stripe on it and a pumpkin on the sleeves. The sleeves reached her elbows, had a small slit in them, and were trimmed in the same purple as the collar. Her skirt reached mid-thigh and matched the purple of her on her shirt. She was also wearing tights that were a slightly lighter shade of purple with pumpkin on the outer ankles and mint green— I don't care about any of this! And mint green vines with leaves trailed up her tights, disappearing under her skirt and down her tights under her feet. I noticed that she wasn't wearing any shoes but shrugged it off. The one thing about her that really caught my attention was her eyes. Those eyes that seemed to smile down at me with love and understanding. Her beautiful silver blue eyes that told me that everything would be alright and that she was there for me. My sister's eyes. Rebecca! I leapt to my feet and hugged her tightly, afraid that if I didn't she would disappear. I could feel tears stream down my face as I sobbed into her shirt. Rebecca, I missed you so much. You have changed so much too. Is it really you, Sissy? Are you and VOICEBOX really the same person? Oh, Shayla, my dear little sister, of course it is really me. I promised I would take care of you, did I not? I tried so hard to speak with you before that terrible night, but you could not hear me. When you could hear me, I knew that you would think you had gone insane if I told you who I really was, so I became VOICEBOX. She explained that she hugged me back and stroked my hair, just like she used to when I was young. This is the first time you have ever let me into your dreams, though. I am so happy I can hold you again. I am so proud of you, Shayla. Sissy, how did you end up in my head? I asked as I smiled up at her through my tears. Sweetie, when we were in that accident, do you remember what I said just before I passed out? You said that you loved me and would always be with me. The last thought I had before I died was that I could not leave you alone with those people. My desire to keep you safe and the fact that we were both still mortal made it possible for my soul to enter you. It would not have worked if we were fully human, but since our father is not human, it did work for us. Wait, Sissy, I'm turning 18 and immortal in a few months. What happens when I turn immortal? You'll still be with me, right? Rebecca looked down at me with sad, teary eyes and shook her head. I am so sorry, Shayla, but two souls cannot survive in an immortal body. When you turn 18, I will have to go. Tears slowly started falling down her face. I could tell that she didn't want to leave me, and I cried harder as I held on to her. Sissy, there has to be some way you can stay. I can't lose you again. I just can't. Oh, Shayla, I don't want to leave you either. But I don't know of any way I can stay without sending your soul to the other side in my place, and I refuse to do that. You must live, and I'm already dead. I wish there was another way, sweetie. I really wish there was. I wish so too. Sissy, I love you. I love you too, Shayla. At least we still have a few months together. This is something we can be thankful for. Rebecca, we need to tell Father about this. I think he has the right to know. He's been alone for so long and he's missed us so much. I think that he should be able to spend time with us before you have to leave. Please, Sissy, please say I can tell Father. I looked up at her, giving her my cutest puppy dog face. The one she has never been able to say no to. She laughed and shook her head slightly. Alright, Shayla, you know I cannot say no to that face, and it's even cuter with your ears pinned back like that. After breakfast you can tell Father that I am here. If you open your mind fully to him, he should be able to hear me too. Now I would love to hold you some more, but it is almost time for breakfast, so you have to wake up now, sweetie. Alright, Sissy, just talk to me when I wake up and tell me that this dream was real. I really hope this dream is real. I will. Now hurry your butt up, little sister, or Father will make everyone wait for their breakfast. With that I closed my eyes. P-style equals text align center. End of dream. I opened my eyes and wiped the tears off my face as I sat up. Good morning, little sister. I am so glad you allowed me into your dream last night, and yes, sweetie, everything we talked about in the dream was real. I'm so glad that it was real, Sissy. I know Father will be happy to get to talk to you again. I will be happy to be able to speak with Father again too. Now get dressed and go to breakfast. Alright, Sissy. I quickly tossed on a pair of black underwear, a matching bra, blue skinny jeans, oh no. A green t-shirt and my socks and running shoes. I brushed my teeth and pulled my hair into a ponytail and run downstairs into the dining room for breakfast. The others were already at the table talking or fighting. Jeff was arguing with Ben about whether or not Ben had cheated when they were playing COD Ghost Ops. Sally was trying to get Laughing Jack to play dress up with her after breakfast, and Hoodie and Masky were arguing with Eyeless Jack about whether cheesecake was better than kidneys. I sat down in the empty seat next to Toby and smiled at him. Hey, VOICEBOX, would you like to practice with me today? He asked as he twitched. I have to talk to Father first, but sure, Toby, I'd love to. I blushed as I looked over at him. Father came in with all of our plates and we started eating. I was ecstatic to see that Father had given me some vocal cords with my pancakes. I smiled up at Father and thanked him before digging in. After everyone was done eating, I helped Father with the dishes. Father, may I talk with you before you start with your paperwork? Of course, daughter. I will always have time to talk to you. Now I see where you get your habit of using proper English from, Sissy. I always wondered why you didn't take like everyone else. Yes, dear sister, I spent a lot of time with Father before Mother passed away. I wish you could have known Father sooner and spent a lot of time with Father before Mother passed away. I wish you could have known Father sooner and that you had a chance to get to know Mother. She laughed as we followed Father up to his office. Once again, Father gave us a hug before sitting down in his chair. What is it you wanted to talk about, Shayla? Your mind is close to me right now. Well, Father, I just learned something last night that I thought you should know. With that, I opened my mind to Father so that Rebecca could speak with him too. Hello, Father. It has been a long time since we have been able to speak with one another.
Rebecca!
Yes, Father, it is I.
Father scooped us up in a hug and held us close. I could feel his tall frame shake, as though he was crying.
I laid my head on his shoulder and wrapped my arms around his neck to comfort him. I just found out last night that Rebecca's soul stayed with me in my body, but...
I know, dear child, I know. Two immortal souls cannot reside in the same immortal body.
I wish we had more than 3 months to be together, Father, but I will not rob my baby sister of her life. Shayla and I just thought you should know so that we could all spend my last 3 months together.
I am so glad that you girls informed me of this. I have missed you greatly, Rebecca, and I am proud of you that you would sacrifice so much for your sister. However, I do not want to lose you either, and I know a way to bring you back to life in your own body.
You do, Father, but if you know a way to bring her back, why didn't you tell me when I told you about Rebecca's death?
I did not tell you because I cannot bring back someone whose soul has already crossed over to the afterlife. But I must tell you, girls, that Rebecca will come back at the same age she was when she died. And if she dies again before her 18th birthday, then I will not be able to revive her again.
I understand, Father. So it would seem that I will be Shayla's twin instead of her elder sister. What do we have to do, Father? I've missed Sissy so much, and I don't want to lose her again either.
I will have to find the spell book to answer that, Shayla. All I remember of this particular spell is that it must be done on a Friday the 13th.
There is one next month, and this month is almost over. Wow, what a fucking coincidence. That only gives us 2 weeks to find the spell and collect everything we need. Will that be enough time, Father?
It should be enough time. I will put work on hold for a while and find the spell book.
What work does Slender Man have? What the
I will call you when I have found the book. For now, try not to worry.
Thank you, Father. I did not want to leave you and Shayla again either. We both love you, Father.
I love both of you girls too.
We gave Father one more hug, wiped the tears from my eyes and left the office to go find Toby. After all, I did say we would practice together.
That concludes Chapter 4. I am hoping that there is going to be a threesome between Rebecca, Shayla, and Ticci Toby in a future chapter. Fingers crossed.